There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks. Welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonko table. That is the voice of Grandmaster Hoop coming at you from the cockpit of a Naboo starfighter, because that is the quintessential ship to our favorite Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and his newly adopted son, Grogu. That's right, folks. If you don't recognize those names, those are the two stars of The Mandalorian, the hit Star Wars show featured on Disney Plus that seeks to tell the tales of a Mandalorian by the names of Din Djarin and his newly adopted son, Grogu, as they venture through the galaxy far, far away. And we're here to talk about season 3 now. We have already talked about the premiere episode, and now we're back to talk about season 3 as a whole. And with me, as always, is the the Bo-Katan to my Din Djarin.
Ew!
It's fellow Yonko, Dr. Dre's attorney. Dr. Dre's attorney, why don't you want to be Bo-Katan? She's a leader. She's, graceful. She's super cool. She can kick ass. You don't like that comparison?
Why don't you be Bo-Katan then?
I could be Bo-Katan. I have no problem being Bo-Katan.
Good.
Okay.
It's like the kids on the playground. I don't want to be the Pink Ranger.
All right. I forgot pink and yellow are designated female colors.
I want to be the Red Ranger. He's the leader.
Why do I gotta be the Black Ranger? Is because I'm black? That's fucked up. This is the world we live in.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Very good. Are you happy to be here talking about Mandalorian?
I'm happy to be here talking about Mandalorian. Because I think we mentioned it in our first episode premiere. Second season of Mando had just finished when we first started the podcast, the Yonko table.
It's true.
We didn't get to hop on the Mando, hype train at the time because, it was already over and done with. So we kind of went on to more current shows that were airing at the time. But I'm excited to now have an excuse to talk about Mandalorian, specifically with season 3. I have a lot to say about season 3 in comparison to the previous ones. I would say it's the weaker of the 3 seasons. While I don't think it's terrible, it had some missteps. There were plenty of weeks where I was like, I don't know. I just felt indifferent to what I was watching. And I never felt that way for prior seasons of Mandalorian. So I'm sure we'll get into the nitty gritty as we go along, but excited to talk about Mandalorian. But if it's in relation to specifically season 3, it's like, I don't know.
It is fair. I agree. This is the weakest season of the Mandalorian. And, I think we talked about it a little. I think this one had a lot of expectations going into it. It was about a 2-year hiatus between season 2 and season 3.
What was between 1 and 2? Was it like 1?
Yeah, 1 and 2 was a year apart because it was a launch title. They had filmed it in 2018. And so,
okay.
Season 2 was filmed in 2019. So it was ready by 2020. And so then, from there, 2021, I don't think we had any Mando. Or, no, I'm sorry, season 2. No. We didn't have any Mando in 2021. Then we had Boba Fett at the end of 2021. That's what we got. That's what we were given.
You mean beginning, right? Or no. It started
Boba Fett started in December, right?
Yeah,
and then it carried over into 2022, followed by Obi-Wan, and then followed by Andor, and then Mandalorian comes back 2023. So there's a lot of Star Wars content in between season 2 and 3 of Mandalorian. I think the biggest thing to look forward to was the fact that we were gonna get more more Mandalorians, and they delivered on that part. We spent a good couple episodes on Mandalore. We met a plethora of Mandalorians, some maybe with one line, some with more, and whatnot. But overall, yeah, let's just open the floodgates. You already said it's the weakest. I agree with you. It's the weakest. What's going on? What made it so weak? There's a lot of strong things going for this season, and then yet there's something that's disconnecting from the overall story of this season, and it shows. And oh man, it's got a lingering effect. I mean, let me first put up the borderlines of what we're working with here, right? We already talked about episode 1. Din Djarin wants to get in the living waters, atone. That's his goal, right?
We initially thought this was going to be the entire season, or at least a good chunk of it.
Okay, you know what? That's a great place to start. Right. That
I thought the journey was to get to Mandalore.
Right. We got to Mandalore like that, episode 2.
And he went to the water, episode 2.
He went in the water.
On the way back.
He did it. I mean, there was a couple of scruffles here and there. So, there's his journey. It's done by episode 2. Bo-Katan. She's a little pouty. Her whole thing is to retake Mandalore. And now she has to save Din Djarin's sloppy, dumb behind from, getting captured in the mines. And, she wants the Darksaber. Thought that might have been a nice journey throughout the season.
What, exploring Mandalore?
Just kind of her journey as far as acquiring the Darksaber. But interestingly enough, I think a lot of people thought there was going to be a duel between Din Djarin and Bo-Katan.
No.
Well, what happens episode 2?
They had a technicality.
Well,
Actually, I lost the Darksaber to the creature that took me underwater. And Bo-Katan defeat. Oh, actually, no. It was the creature that
weird droid.
The weird
thing.
droid. Yeah, I lost a Darksaber to that dude, and Bo-Katan saved me from that dude. So she defeated my captor. Therefore, the Darksaber is hers. Here you go, Bo-Katan.
That's it.
That's
it.
Yeah.
That technicality. And if you had spotted it early on,
I did not spot. I did not spot. I'm like, oh, gee, he got captured. That's it.
It's like almost anticlimactic to a point, because the whole concept of you have to duel for it, and I didn't spot the technicality either. So when they revealed it, I was like, oh damn, they're right. That's an easy cop out for them not to fight. And part of me is like, that could have been a really nice growing conflict between the two, is that they would eventually have to come to blows if she truly wants to be the leader. And then that never happens.
Right. Because then you have the whole point of Din Djarin not wanting to take the lead of the people of Mandalore and lead them to whatever salvation Bo-Katan thinks that they need.
Right.
But he can't just hand it over to her. He can't just be like, I don't want it. Here, take it. You have to fight for it. And she's going to know if he's actually trying, because if he half-asses in a fight, it's like, well, I didn't earn it. You weren't really trying in that fight. And
right.
That to me is a much more compelling story that I don't want to say the writers did not know, because it's our Lord and Savior Jon Favreau who was writing this. I don't want to say he was incompetent to not write a story like that. I want to say he chose not to go in that direction, rather than he couldn't write something that compelling. But it then makes me beg the question, why did you choose to go that route then? Why did you choose to not have them face off against each other? Because your substitute that you had, which is the technicality, is not interesting.
Right.
And it doesn't help that the rest, a significant portion of the middle of this season was not interesting.
Yeah.
It was just, I wouldn't call it filler, but I don't know, man. I'm just watching it and I'm just watching it. Like nothing's like clicking for me. Nothing's clicking for me as I'm watching it. I don't get a wake up call until I want to say the finale. Yeah. I don't really open my eyes and watch what I'm watching with the Mandalorian season 3 until the final episode.
So what we're doing right now is we're setting up how there was a strong premise in the beginning and a strong, I was satisfied by the finale too. And then we're going to get into the in-between. The last person we got to talk about is Grogu. Did he have a story this season? He's back with Din
and Gaga.
He cooed and Gaga. He did cool and Gaga a lot.
I had the subtitles on.
It literally said
Grogu cooing. Oh, great. Yeah. Thank God I caught that.
Right. I think there was an interesting story to be told with him being again, this is a very Mandalorian centric season, so we got a lot of kind of the inner workings of, you know, the watch, not Death Watch, but the watch.
Right.
And then nothing else. There was like one episode with Grogu kind of becoming one of them.
Right. I did like some of the, you know, some of the issues that they raised with Grogu becoming like a foundling and eventually an apprentice, an adopted son to Din Djarin. I just like, and this is a technicality, but I feel like it was a good one where it's like Din Djarin wants to raise Grogu as his own, but in order to do that, he needs to cite the creed, and baby Grogu does not know how to talk. So he can't become exactly. And I kid you not, oh my God, this is gonna be so weird. By the finale, I expected, like, I didn't think Grogu was gonna like grow significantly in any way by the finale, but when we got to the finale, there were certain moments where Grogu's kind of like pushed against the wall, and I thought, is he gonna do something right here? Like, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but in the finale, when he's fighting off against or not even fighting, when he's like kind of dodging the blows from the they have names, those red troopers and
the Praetorian Guards.
When he was facing off against them, when he got separated from Din Djarin, I thought he was gonna do some Yoda shit. Like, I thought because he's been jumping around and doing backflips this entire season, and I thought it was gonna be something like, okay, Mando's handling the big guy, the big boy, Moff Gideon. We'll touch on Moff Gideon, don't worry. But he's handling Moff Gideon, the big bad, but Grogu got to handle his own. We got the Praetorian Guards. He's got to handle them. I thought he was gonna do some crazy nonsense where like he grabs their weapons and like goes bananas with them. It would have been an ass pull, because it's like, wait, how did he learn to do this as a baby? How did he learn to do this? I thought he was gonna do it. I thought it was gonna be something cool. With that said, at the end, when the forger was telling him was telling Din Djarin, nope, he can't be an apprentice. He cannot cite the creed. I thought Grogu was gonna start talking backwards like Yoda.
Oh boy!
Cite the creed, I can.
I think people are waiting for that to happen.
That would have been bad. Although, fun story about that. Some people think Yoda is a troll because you know the female Yoda that was part of the, what was her name?
Yaddle, like Waddle.
Yaddle. She does not speak backwards.
Oh, you know what? She was just featured in some Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi. She does not speak backwards like Yoda. So because it was always
Uh-huh.
assumed Yoda, because Yoda was the only one, it was assumed Yoda's people speak backwards like that. But no, they don't. So it's just Yoda choosing to speak like this.
Maybe there's a reason.
He's a troll. He's trolling.
Maybe okay. He might be a troll. I like to think maybe that's just the way he was brought up. We need confirmation. We need confirmation. But dang, I mean, if he should talk Grogu, I think that's a thing fans are waiting for. Didn't happen here. So what we just established, there's 3 central characters, them 3 that we talked about. They each had a journey. Would you say all their journeys were fleshed out to the fullest? Because
when you
part
say
of me
all
is
3,
like
you mean like Mando,
Bo, Grogu. Because what we're treating in the finale is that great shot of all 3 of them and Grogu protecting.
That was nice. That was nice.
Right, and it was, and
a
I feel like
reference to Rebels, which you have not finished.
I have not finished Rebels.
There's a scene. There's a specific scene that people were saying, "Oh, that happened before. That happened before in Rebels."
Is that shot earned? Do you feel their journey should conclude in such an epic shot like that? Because for me, there's a lot of great things for all 3 of them, but it's not as great as it could have been, and it just felt like some of the writing choices here I feel are like almost going through the motions.
I think the characters in a way deserve that win at the end, like that money shot. But I feel like you don't get a lot of that in this particular season. So like Mando season 1, season 2, I'm like, okay, Mando deserves the world. Like he deserves all the money shots. He deserves the hero poses. So when they get to this spot, I'm like, okay, yeah, he deserves it. I don't know if season 3 is where I would say, oh man, season 3 solidified my thoughts on it. Cause I feel like if you were to really home in on which character had the most development, it would be Bo-Katan.
Yes.
I think she had the most growth, and in a way, about equal screen time almost as Din.
I think this is her season. I think this season belongs to her.
Yeah, I think she deserves it. God, that small little shield though pisses me off. I hate that she has that shield.
Oh God, why?
It's small.
It's lightweight. They're light on their feet.
When she puts that in front of them to shield against the fire at the very end, I'm like, assuming Grogu was not there, that was not protecting anyone. I don't know what waste. A waste. Either way, I feel like this was her season. Yeah, she was definitely the spotlight. Her coming to terms with like what her people want, and in unifying the Mandalorians, because even as far back as the prequels, these bastards were always fighting each other. Like they had civil war after civil war, and the Forger, in all of her wisdom,
I gotta correct you, the armorer.
The Forger.
I'm warning you. It's the
armorer.
armorer.
Star Wars fans are gonna come after
It's
me.
the armorer.
The armorer.
You owe it to her because we saw her in person.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yep.
Yeah, she did the line.
She was at MegaCon.
Right. She in all her wisdom tells Bo-Katan like only you can unite these people. So take off that damn helmet and stop pretending to be us.
Don't do her like that.
What?
She wasn't pretending. That was a really good moment. Kind of.
Go ahead.
Okay. Very unexpected.
Sell it to me.
Bo-Katan inadvertently swims in the living waters. And just like Din Djarin, when she went in, she had her helmet on. And from there, she had not taken it off. And by doing so, she practiced the way of the watch and becomes one of them. last thing on her to-do list, the last thing she probably ever wanted is to, she calls them fanatics. And now she's all alone, and these are the only people who are like, I guess, here. So it's now she's at this crossroads where she's like, well, damn, I've called them fanatics all my life. Let me see what kind of their side is like. It's very kind of I don't want to say like Avatar, like Jake Sully being being introduced to the tribe. I don't want to call it Dancing with the Wolves either, but that's very much what it's like. She finds herself in this cult, quote unquote, whatever you want to call it, cult, religion, and she never wanted to be here, and she's doing it, and she's actually trying to learn and listen. You didn't buy into that?
I mean, I bought into it. And maybe I over exaggerated when I said the armorer said, "Take that damn thing off." I ultimately felt like she in a way she kind of did tell her that. I remember the scene. It's the one where they're by themselves and they're like I think the armorer says something like she doesn't say, "Do you trust me?" She says like, "Do you," something about her authority, like, "Do you acknowledge that it's just me and you here, and I have this infinite wisdom," or whatever. I don't remember the exact quote, but she said something along those lines, and Bo-Katan's like, "Yeah." And then her next line is, "Take that damn thing off."
Fair.
Take it off.
Okay. So I think in this one, I think this season did kind of good with is kind of these clashing ideologies, because the armorer, Din Djarin, did you take your helmet off? You're excommunicado. You gotta go
gross.
Bathe in the waters, and the armorer is a character who I think also gets a good amount of kind of development. Very set in her ways in season 1 and 2, the little that we see of her. And then, here's Bo-Katan, Lady Bo-Katan Kryze.
Oh God. I finally know her full freaking name by the end of this season.
Right. And so it's an interesting point of view for her now to recognize that our differences, yes, we can recognize how different we are. That does not mean we need to close ourselves off to one another, which is very much what that covert was doing. If you ain't the watch, you gotta go. And then she drops the line, Bo-Katan walks both worlds. She will be the one to unite Mandalore and all the tribes.
Why does she talk like this? Oh my gosh. She had a lot more dialogue than probably all the seasons combined.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And then that sets up kind of the next arc is Bo-Katan is going to be the leader, and she's got to bring the tribes together. What do you think of that kind of journey for her, bringing the tribes together? Because Armor sets it up perfectly.
She does. I like, you see, when this little arc started kicking off, I think I briefly told you about this, but I didn't tell you the whole thing. When this little arc of her trying to unite Mandalore, and it was building up to a potential takeover, or not really a takeover, a reclamation of Mandalore, because as we know, Mandalore was abandoned. It was supposedly uninhabitable, but Din Djarin's ventures into Mandalore proved that no, there are still plenty of people, which makes me wonder, like, has no one just gone back to check? Like, it's just, oh my God, it's so aggravating. It's whatever. It's Star Wars, whatever. But immediately I started thinking, like, okay, this is clearly building up to a potential resurgence of Mandalore. Maybe not to the degree it was in the Clone Wars, where it's like a thriving metropolis, but it's gonna start building up from here. Wherever we end up at the end of the season, before even the finale came in, I was like, we're gonna end up with a Mandalore that is going to regrow and prosper. But if they do that, where are we going to end up when it comes to the sequel trilogy? And I understand the sequel trilogy never bothered. Like the Mandalorian storyline was not even a twinkle in those writers' eyes when they were writing the sequel trilogy. But for it to be a continuous mythos that like interlocks all the different, previous trilogies and future trilogies, it's like if Mandalore was growing again, where were they when the First Order, who are remnants of the Empire that subjugated them, where were they in the sequel trilogy? And again, they have room to explain what was going on, but you see what I mean? Like that's my mind thinking about this. Like, oh, that's cool. We're going to retake Mandalore and everything. But then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, but wait a minute. This is post original trilogy, pre-sequel trilogy. I don't know how this makes sense. If Mandalore comes back, where were they in the story?
Well, so, given the finale, and yes, I really try to separate the sequel trilogy from all things Star Wars.
You can't, because now they're continuing it with the announcements.
I hate it so much. And y'all should go check out our deep dives on the sequel trilogy. We did all 7, 8, and 9. But there is a 30-year, about another 30 years between, the events of Mando to the sequel trilogy. Yeah. Right. So we have some time, and I imagine in future Mandalorian seasons, maybe we'll touch upon that because, not only do we get the reclamation of Mandalore, but we now do get inklings of the Empire, and very much it's not so cut and dry. The Death Star blew up. That doesn't mean the Empire is still not, crawling and waiting for the lights to turn off to appear again. I mean, we've seen we've seen it throughout the Mandalorian, but now it seems like there are really bigger things in play, and that was kind of the B side of season 3. I'd hardly call it a B side, more like a C side,
like a B plot. Is that what you mean?
Well, no, it just I want to. Okay, so let's talk about it. So there's remnants of the Empire, right? Okay. I think episode 3 was the biggest thing we got of it, where I think it was Dr. Pershing, the scientist.
God, yeah, Dr. Pershing.
Did you? Yeah, I know we talked about it a little bit. What, you didn't like that episode? What's going on?
Well, I think I liked it in the moment, right? Like, sure. I was liking what I was watching because it was different. It was like, wow, there's no Mando in this episode, but we're dedicating all this time to this guy, and it's like, where are they gonna go? Because they addressed something that was, I think, they didn't have to address it, because I was thinking, Star Wars is never gonna talk about something this deep, but they did, and I was like, oh, okay, which is, there were people that worked for the Empire that the New Republic enlisted, and they kind of have them in like a re-education program. It's not like they just, all right, I guess I'll go work the fields on Tatooine. I used to be a medical analyst in the med bay on the Empire's Death Star, but I'll go to Tatooine now. Like, no, I like the fact that they even entertained this type of plot in Star Wars, period. Like, there are people that had to be re-educated, and they fit them into the New Republic's, I guess, regime, or however you want to call it. Like, reintegrate them to be functional, I guess, citizens in the new order of the galaxy. That's what so I like that concept alone. I was liking it, and the more it went on, I was like, man, this is really long. They really want me to pay attention to what's going on here. And it had an ending, right? It had that ending where, the girl, I don't remember the girl's name.
Elia Kane. Elia Kane.
That's her character name?
That's her character's name.
Elia Kane. Okay, so Elia Kane, who again, Pershing and Elia, they were previous remnants of Moff Gideon's squad, who Moff Gideon is hinted at going to trial on a spaceship. Ooh, but where is he? Ooh, he went MIA. Ooh. So they have this thing going on, and it makes it seem like, they're having feelings at first, or they're being flirtatious. I don't know. But Pershing has the cloning technology, and he's like, yeah, I know cloning information. I want to help the New Republic. I want to prove to them that cloning can still be used for good. It's the Empire that did it for evil. I was like, okay, cool. They went through this convoluted ass plot to get the cloning tech that he had on the Empire ship, wherever the hell that was. And then they put him in a mind flayer because he wasn't clearly he wasn't taught. No means no when it comes to the cloning technology. And he's like, what is this? What are you doing? And what is it? The Dr. Akbar. Dr. Akbar.
Oh God, that's racist. Not every Mon Calamarian is related to Akbar.
He's like in lower voltages, oh god, I sound like Yoda. In lower voltages, the mind flayer can actually have some positive effects on the human mind. We will turn it only up to 2. He turns it up to 2, and then they leave. They just leave him there during a medical procedure, and they leave the girl there, and she's like, I want to be here for my friend. That bitch cranked it up to 11.
Oh,
The
goodness.
Max settings, mind flight. Did this guy die or something? Like,
Okay, let me say this. I agree with you. It's cool to see Star Wars tackle these issues. Apparently, these are things they tackle in Andor.
I was gonna say that's like, does Andor? Is that why people like Andor, because it tackles like new things in Star Wars? I still need to watch it.
I think people do watch Andor for this stuff. It's a little egregious here just because it's such a stark contrast to what the Mandalorian is.
I feel like it was a different show almost.
It felt like a backdoor pilot to
they should have just
the
done
life
that.
of the life and times of Dr. Pershing.
Oh
But
my
I'm glad they're tackling these things, because they definitely built up the New Republic to be nothing but these kind of self-absorbed bureaucrats a little bit, and they're not even seeking. Yes, the Empire was, and they have good tech, they were doing good things, and yet they're like, nope, all Empire stuff's gotta burn, it's gotta go.
burn.
But then I think with the twist with Elia Kane, I don't get it. I don't know if I don't know if Pershing's alive. I don't know why he had to be caught. I don't know why she sold him out. I'm so confused.
It's the cloning tech he found at the ship or the facility, whatever.
Why even let him go there then if you were just going to have him arrested and that cloning tech confiscated?
My thing is like, you told what could have been done in like 20 minutes. You dedicated an entire episode to, and it's never touched on again. Like it's never her story, because like then the thing is, the reason why it's a problem is because they dedicated a whole episode to it. That almost lends itself to making me believe that, okay, we're going to be seeing this character a lot, probably. Almost like a Game of Thrones style, where maybe they're going to jump between different characters and kind of, like Game of Thrones, like follow the characters through their own individual journeys, and by the finale, all their separate journeys converge into one. They cross paths, and it's like this epic finale, like exactly like how Game of Thrones does it. But you just get that one episode, and you don't hear from her again. You probably see her again for like 30 seconds in like episode 5 or 7, whatever, and that's it. I'm like, what was the point? Like, this is what I mean. In the moment, I enjoyed the episode. But then the more we went along the season, I started thinking that episode was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
ultimately, it doesn't progress anything. It just shows that Moff Gideon's minions are still doing evil things. Thanks for letting me know.
I have a solution with the kind of Game of Thrones idea overall. I briefly mentioned this to you outside the pod. And yes, that could have definitely worked here. Like, there was no need to spend the whole like 40 minutes with them. And then, yeah, it's just like they set up good things and that story wasn't really picked up upon. It like the mere mention of cloning is only significant in one moment. And again, it doesn't even seem that grand because I'm pretty sure we knew Moff Gideon was trying to clone or like being able to produce living things and be able to embed like the force in them.
Was he doing that in the prior seasons?
The idea
I don't remember
was,
what his goal was. Like, I thought it was just evil.
No, the goal. He said it at the end of this season. He said,
"Well, this season, yeah."
But no, that was always his goal. He wanted to extract. I mean, I guess at this point it'd be midi-chlorians, and
right. He isolated the metachlorian technology or not even technology. He just isolated that gene. He's like, all right, I found it, baby. Now I could clone force sensitive Moff Gideons.
Yes, that's his goal, and it's just like I don't know because I don't even remember Dr. Pershing ever having cloning stuff in the first season, so it just seemed like something forced. It was like a good idea, but it felt forced. And to spend so much time with them, it to amount to nothing really. It was just kind of a letdown. And there's a lot of points in this season where it felt like if they treated it like Game of Thrones, it would have made a lot more sense. For example, did you realize the pirates were tied to Moff Gideon?
They were?
Yes.
In what way?
He like hired them or something
to attack Navarro.
Yes, or something. I'm pretty
For
sure.
What?
They said that in the finale.
I don't remember.
And
God.
When I heard that, I was like, there was no breadcrumbs to make you think the pirates were here for any other reason but to be pirates.
Yeah, I just thought they controlled the sector and that was the end of it.
There was something and it's I feel that's kind of what the season the last two episodes of this season would make you think they're tying everything together, and then it's just like I didn't know there was a string to be tied.
I didn't know. No, I didn't know that either. I mean, the thing is, I feel like part of the problem is the whole thing with Moff Gideon. I feel like they held the reveal of Moff Gideon returning too close to their chest. For too long. They held onto it for too long. That Moff Gideon, like that first scene of Moff Gideon, like giving the speech to all those other Empire, right? Those other Imperials, which by the way, one of them was a Hux. So
one of them was a Hux. Yep.
Wow, look at that. A relation. Another callback to the sequel trilogy. Oh, we're coming back full circle, baby. But that scene, or maybe even not that scene, if they really wanted to save it for like a finale, something on that level needed to happen. I want to say by episode 2. I think you need to really understand like what is at stake for the season so that you can kind of touch, like, you want to see the journey for all the characters, how it ultimately is going to end up with them, clashing by the end of it. This whole Moff Gideon thing, I just feel like the first half is just Mandalorian, culture, which is fine, but I feel like in a way it's aimless because I don't know where the story is going in that scene. Compare that to seasons 1 and 2, right? Where in seasons 1 and 2, and again, I'm just gonna intermix both of them together. What I recall from seasons 1 and 2 was that you know, the immediate goal was to get Grogu from point A to point B, right? To uncover whatever mystery is behind Grogu. Where is he from? Where do I got to take him? Stuff like that. But as early as episode 1, even in season 1, you knew there was something with the Empire, or remnants of the Empire, where they're like, they're going to come back and come after this kid. But why do they want him? What were they using him for? And who are they going to send to capture this kid again? Obviously, the story changes from season 1 to season 2, but you always knew where it ultimately was going from the beginning. With season 3, that Pershing episode does not tell me anything. It just tells me, oh, Moff Gideon's henchman, she's being a bitch to this guy. She's mind flaying him.
Oh, Moff Gideon, he's probably alive and
He's
kicking.
probably alive. But we don't know that until like 5-6 episodes into the season. And it's like, I don't know, man. I did not like how they spaced out this episode. There were some where it felt like filler. Again, do you know what I'm gonna say? Do you know what I'm gonna say?
I think it's episode 6.
The Jack Black and Lizzo planet.
Oh man.
It was filler. And again, I love me some Jack Black. Lizzo indifferent too, just because I don't really know Lizzo like that. But Jack Black, oh my God, always up for some Jack Black. But I know he geeked out at the opportunity to appear in Star Wars.
Sure. As anyone would.
But it's like, what was this excursion? This was like a little mini mystery with the head of security.
Oh, do you recognize the head of security?
Is he the guy from Space Force, the doctor?
I don't know about Space Force. No, you're thinking of John Malkovich. No, that's Doc Brown. That's
yeah. I did recognize it. Yes, I didn't recognize it at first, and then by the end of it, I'm like, I know who that guy is. Who is he?
He's old now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this episode. I'm gonna give a hot take real quick.
Hot take.
I don't like seeing big name stars in roles like this, where you can clearly tell it's that big name star.
I don't feel like that's a hot take. I feel like that's kind of it's kind of like Game of Thrones. Oh God.
What, Ed Sheeran in
Game of Thrones? Ed Sheeran in Game of Thrones. Yes. I feel like that is purposeful. Like, you want people to be immersed in the world that's going on at the moment. That's why whenever they do these trilogies, they always go for I don't want to say no name actors, but like, people with like low fame in the industry at the time. Hey, your Hayden Christensen's, your Mark Hamill's, your Daisy Ridley's, your John Boyega. They want people that are not gonna have an effect that you just described right now. They don't want to cast Eddie Murphy as Finn in the sequel trilogy, because all you're gonna see is Eddie Murphy in Star Wars.
Right. Oh man, and they felt their characters just felt like caricatures.
Yes.
And I also did not like how Lizzo was petting and feeding Grogu like a cat.
A dog.
Yeah, I was like, that's a boy. That's a young boy. What are you doing? It was weird. And yes, it was filler because, and this bothered me because, one, I didn't think that mystery was so good at all. With the droids
was
acting.
Was it so obvious? Oh, I like that we got to see droids again.
I like seeing droids. I did not like seeing them like that.
What, like as servants?
Oh, it was just they're just there. It was weird. It was weird. It was.
What was weird to me was how a super droid was sprinting and doing backflips and being agile as hell when they were running away from Bo Catan and Din. And I'm like, when the hell have they ever done this in the prequels? Those super droids only walked with their back straight and their wrist going forward for laser shots. They did not sprint and run like that in the prequels.
In Battlefront 2, they would make you think they could sprint.
Could they sprint? Oh yeah, no, they could. They could sprint. They could sprint.
They could sprint to a degree. I mean, yeah, it was cool, but like it didn't amount to anything. And then, what's weird is when you try to throw in filler and then try to put plot and continuity at the end of the episode.
What was the end of this one?
At the end of the episode, Bo fights Wolf.
That does happen. Yeah. Because that was the goal the entire time.
That was the goal the entire time.
But you had to finish this quest. This side quest.
It's a legit side quest.
Yeah.
And it was like, I felt it wasn't even a good side quest. We can have such a more rich, deeper story if you let Bo try to talk to this dude, try to get her people back, because those were Bo's people. That was her squad. And
which I like how they never addressed again. Like, you left me. Like, you left me and I've been sitting in that chair by myself on that weird planet in that palace by myself, and you left me.
I think there could have been so much richer content here. And then again, this is where the technicality was brought up, and then boom, Bo's quest to reunite the tribes is like over.
Yeah,
that was it.
That was it. She just brought them. She brought them back to the watch, and she's like, "All right, kids, play nice." And there was like one or two scuffles, but they got over it pretty quickly.
And that's another thing. I was like, "Yes, show me that it's not clicking. Show me that they need a leader." It was I think it was the dude Wolf and Paz Vizsla.
That's the big,
the big guy.
Tank.
The tank. And they were playing chess, and they start scrapping. I was like, this makes sense. They're two religious extremes on the, and they're not gonna gel. And then who's the one that breaks it up?
Was it Din?
It's Grogu in the IG-12.
Oh yeah, he does. No.
I was like, I mean, great moment for Grogu. I love that for him. But like, leaders, what are y'all doing? Can y'all address the elephant in the room? We may be different, but we're all Mandalorian.
I feel like they ultimately got to that point at the end, just not ideal. Yeah, I get it. They should have had a couple moments like this. But you can't have episodes like that because you have side quest filler episodes like Jack Black and Lizzo and Dr. Pershing.
So strange.
Very weird. But I mean, by the end of it all, they're united and they go on to Mandalore to reclaim it. They find other people that are living on Mandalore.
There are still Mandalorians here.
Which, again, I'm just like, did no one come back here? Like, everyone just assumed, yep, the Empire destroyed it. It's uninhabitable. Okay, did you go back? No.
It's unbreathable.
It's unbreathable.
Did you check?
No.
That R5 unit, it took him 2 seconds to tell them that air is breathable.
That's it. And it's like, you would like the only thing you could even argue to say why they believed that was in the original trilogy, you could argue that Mandalore was probably in Empire space when the Empire was like at its, prime, its peak, and you could not get to Mandalore without coming across the Empire, and then they would likely kill you for getting close to Mandalore, right? But the Empire is dead. The remaining Mandalores did not care. The Mandalorians, they did not care to go back to their home planet that they were infatuated with they don't want to go and just see. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's people living there. Maybe it wasn't enough. It's. Oh God, I don't even know. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point.
No. It makes sense. Again, I feel Favreau and Filoni do a great job at kind of setting up the goalpost and major pillars of what this show is. And then, man, I just feel they drop the ball in a lot of places.
Yes.
I have no idea. So what? Are we to assume, because no one has checked, obviously. The only person who thought to check was Moff Gideon, who's also infatuated with Mandalorian culture. And
apparently more than Mandalorians, because he's the only one that went back.
He's the only one that went back. And then on top of that, too, he finds all this Beskar. And now he upgrades these stormtroopers. And now they have Beskar armor and jetpacks. And they're basically Mandalorians.
Essentially.
Y'all could have been great, but you let this man beat you to it.
He set up shop and everything. He had a base, technology, doing the clone stuff. That was so weird seeing like a half-naked Giancarlo in those tubes. And then when he opens his eyes, I'm like, oh God, please just blow it up. Hurry up.
It's gotta go.
It's gotta go. It's like, this is my thing. I feel like people are going to pay attention to like the last 2 episodes of this season and say it was the best season ever, because
they were great episodes. They were
great episodes. And like they name drop a lot of things that like it makes you ask like, okay, the future of Star Wars is good, because where are they going to go with this? They threw around Admiral Thrawn's name.
They did. They know what they're doing at this point.
They know this is literally like MCU levels of like name dropping and making things like different projects tied together. You name drop Admiral Thrawn because they're like, oh, Admiral Thrawn is coming back. Okay, but when? When is he coming back? I don't know, but he's coming back. I've heard the rumors. So like, okay, Admiral Thrawn's gonna be a thing at some point, but Moff Gideon is not gonna wait for some blue guy to come in and overtake his spot. He's gonna be like, no, I will lead us into greatness. So it makes me wonder, like, okay, so if he was gonna make a bunch of Moff Gideons like force sensitive, what was he gonna do with that? Give them all lightsabers, kyber crystals. You got to get kyber crystals for lightsabers. Or are they just like, what is he doing? But I just have so many questions. I think, I think their goal, Moff Gideon, he's a great villain. He's definitely imposing. Yes, I like his presence every time he's on screen. Perfect.
Yes. But with that said, we don't get much from, kind of why he's got this vendetta against Mandalorians. We don't understand, like you said, we don't know his overall goals. Obviously, he wants to stay in power, but it's like, okay, so what? You have clones that can use the Force. Are they going to be just your muscle? Like, what is your ultimate end game here?
Yeah, what is this? What's going on?
We don't get much of that, or hardly any, and now he's gone. Yeah. The big bad, he's out. We got 2 episodes of this season with him.
He's gone.
And he's gone. There's no way he survived. There's no way.
I mean, was he just engulfed by fire or something?
I mean, I guess if that armor is truly strong, yes, he could survive. But they were like, we got to take Moff Gideon out, or this will never end. He's gonna keep coming back. Very much like, I keep hunting you and your family, Jake Sully. If you don't kill me now.
Jake Sully?
Oh, Avatar, Way of the Water.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they I mean, the final fight was cool. I like
final fight was
like,
cool.
Moff Gideon do his thing, Grogu doing his thing, Force jumping around. That's all he knows. Give this kid a weapon at this point.
He held his own though.
He held his own. I know he could have done it a lot better against those guards. Those
With a weapon.
if it
Yes.
with a weapon, because I knew that IG 10 or 11 model was not gonna help him whatsoever. It's just, oh, you don't want to float around in that little bubble? Well, here you go. You got a walking droid. Like it's
We've
not
upgraded from the bubble to the droid. Yes.
right. And it just didn't do enough. It didn't do enough. I wanted to see that little bastard. Like, if it's not even a lightsaber, just give him a katana, man. I don't know. Be stupid with it. Be dumb.
I think we're on our way. I think he's been growing ever so much. Like, he's literally in it now. He's in it.
He is a Din Grogu now.
Right. Din Grogu. I always assumed he was already his official adopted son, but I guess
Yeah, I didn't really need this whole adoption thing. I thought it was figuratively he was his son, but I thought everyone accepted like, oh yeah, that's your kid.
yeah. I didn't think they had to put a title on it. You know,
It's official now.
Sure, cool. Sure. I mean, on the topic of Grogu, some things. I feel there's not much to talk about this season. It's it feels very quick because not much happens. Bo-Katan has the biggest story. We talked about the remnants of the Empire, good things he did with that. We talked about, the covert, whatnot. Speaking on Grogu, we got a little bit of his flashback. Now I'm just gonna throw some things that we missed. Remember, we got his flashback. Rescue from Order 66. Cool scene.
Wow, I completely forgot about that.
That happened.
Forgot.
That
wow,
happened.
why did I forget about that? I really feel like that was like a season ago.
I'll tell you why you probably think it happened a season ago. It is damn near identical, like from Grogu's point of view, seeing all the Jedi being killed by the stormtroopers before he's rescued. It's almost the same shot from Obi-Wan when the kids are like looking through the door. It's almost the same shot. People say, oh, another Star Wars show, another flashback of Order 66.
That's becoming a joke in the community now, where it's no longer impressive for people to survive Order 66 because they show they'll go on the Star Wars wiki and then they'll show like the list where it says Jedi confirmed to have died in Order 66, and it's like, in terms of confirmed, like you saw them get shot and everything, there's like maybe 5-7 names on that list. And then right below that, it says all confirmed Jedi to have survived Order 66. And it's like, boom, 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 boom. Like there's like 30, 40 of them.
That's funny.
Yeah, they're showing, I feel like they saw the reaction of fans whenever they just showed a glimmer of Order 66 in different Star Wars media. Like they showed it in Mandalorian. They showed it in Jedi Fallen Order. They showed it. I think they showed it in Star Wars Rebels too.
I'm sure Kanan has a backstory with that.
Yeah, no, actually, no, they did. I remember now. Yeah, Kanan. Yeah. So I feel like people's reaction are typically positive to Order 66 flashbacks, but Disney or Lucasfilm, whatever it is, they don't know how to use that in what's the word? In modesty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're using it too much now. Yeah.
They're using it too much to where now it's not eliciting the same emotions where whenever we would see it. I saw that Order 66, like literally what you said. I mixed it with whatever other Order 66 scenes that we've already seen.
They're all
other
becoming very
characters.
similar. Yeah.
And it's like, it was cool to see the Jar Jar Binks guy reprise, well, not reprise, but like play an already established black character.
He was reprising that role. So Ahmad Best, Kelleran Bach is the name of the Jedi. He played that Jedi on this. It's on Disney Plus. I think it's called the Jedi Temple
the
Academy.
kids show. The kids
The
show.
kids show. The kids show.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah.
And then I just saw an interview. They're like, it was a no-brainer to cast him because on that kid show he's teaching younglings. So they said, "Oh, the teacher of younglings. Let's have him save Grogu."
Right.
Very great moment for him. Given
I'm sure for him, yeah, that's
everything. Right.
given the history.
Right. Oh God. Yeah. So yeah, great moment for him. But yeah. The only thing I know, other than episode 5, the only other great piece of Order 66, like the greatest, is the Clone Wars finale, because, and I say this because obviously we grew with those clones like Rex and all of them, and then Ahsoka. So watching her go through that was amazing. All these flashbacks are just like, oh, Jedi down, clone dead. We gotta go, and that's it. There's, if you're gonna lean into Order 66, you got to lean into it, because I don't know. I just feel at this point it's like it's eye candy. It's literally like let's get it in there, check off list, and bam, move on.
Too much.
And then also nothing came from that flashback.
Yeah, why they show that?
I think it was supposed to help Grogu start accepting himself as a foundling, but we really have no idea the lengths to what that did for him as a character.
I thought that where that flashback ended, it ended with, Ahmad Best's character. He escaped with Grogu alive. I thought he was gonna die, but he was alive, escaping with Grogu, and he's like, "Oh, Grogu, we gotta leave Coruscant," and then that's it. You don't get anything else. What happened to him? Did he just leave Grogu somewhere? Did he die eventually? Like, what happened? No, it just random Grogu flashback of Order 66 because everyone loves Order 66. Everyone loves it.
Yeah. It's just like there was a lot of good things in this season. Okay, the Mythosaur.
What was the point?
I thought he was gonna come and save the day when that big thing jumped out of the planet in the finale.
I thought that was the Mythosaur too.
Mythosaur.
Because no one believed them. No one believed that the Mythosaur, like you say, Bo-Katan Kryze, you have seen a Mythosaur, the legendary Mythosaur, that is legendary because it is never seen in myths and legends. I like when she was asking Bo-Katan that, she's like, yes. yes.
Believe me or don't. Come on, bitch.
Take off your helmet.
Oh man, I thought there was gonna be this really cool. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're really leading and building something with the Mythosaur,
or maybe when they're all in the water, like they're in the water. Well, okay, maybe at the ending was hinting at it, right?
Yes.
Like
Grogu made a connection with him.
I thought Grogu made a connection, but then it didn't flash back to Grogu when you saw the eye open up of the Mythosaur.
Right.
You didn't see like Grogu be like, goo goo gaga. Like, I don't know. You didn't see him like do anything.
You didn't. Right.
So I don't know. Maybe he did, or maybe he didn't. But I imagine the Mythosaur will wake up finally and just get out of the water. I don't know why it's asleep under the water.
I don't know how it's living. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know how deep that thing is, because that thing looks ginormous.
Yeah.
So it's there. I would hope in the next season, they're gonna do something with it. I enjoyed spending time with the covert. I like watching Bo navigate through the covert, but I imagine in season 4, I can't imagine, just because y'all took Mandalore, that it's gonna be easy from this point on. Like, it's gotta come with some issues. Like,
right. Because the thing now is, I would like to think Moff Gideon is dead. You know, I know the whole thing of like, but where's the body?
Sure.
uh, Again, you know, how far did his technology of the Force go with like how much because my thing is, I think they wanted to set this up to make the sequel trilogy make more sense with the whole thing with Sidious returning and cloning technology and the metachlorians. So it's like you literally setting up like I guess the predecessor to that by having the Empire delve into cloning technology, isolating the Force gene,
I
metachlorians.
made Snoke. I guess that makes sense now.
What if they learn he made Moff Gideon too? I was Moff Gideon all along.
Oh, I mean, I don't think that. I think more like Moff Gideon was on the right track for something huge as far as cloning goes, and if they really could isolate that gene, it makes sense that a character like Snoke could be made, you know,
Right.
especially because we saw all the other clones
Yeah.
in Rise of Skywalker. But it irks me to think that they're really trying to just build and try to make the sequel trilogy make more sense. I like what they're doing here. I rather them focus on that and nothing more. Like, for example, how'd you feel about Paz Vizsla this season?
Paz Vizsla?
The tank.
Oh, I mean, he was fine.
Did you like his character growth?
Like he started off as like untrustworthy or
Well,
or like he was very strict with the creed, right?
He's strict with the creed, but also, you know, he challenged Din Djarin for the saber, you know.
This season?
No, that was in Boba Fett.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, that's right. I remember that.
Right,
that.
and
It just happened out of nowhere. He's like
Mando 2.5.
Right.
Yes. To where now he's like, they saved my son, Bo-Katan and Din Djarin. I'll fight with them. And then he goes out in a noble sacrifice. It was cool. I like that
cool.
stuff. I like that stuff. Play with these characters. I feel they're not doing enough of what they got. Like Bo's little right hand girl.
I don't know her name. I know what you're talking about. It's a face that I remember where I'm like, oh yeah, she's on Bo-Katan's squad. Never addressed in terms of like confronting her on why they left or anything.
Nothing. Play with these characters. Like you have a mess of characters. Grief Karga's back.
That was nice to see him again.
Nice to see him. Yeah. Actually,
we shook his hand.
We did. Carl Weathers. We shook his hand. We did. I like him behind the directing chair more than I like Grief Karga at this. I mean, I like Grief Karga, but
he directs.
He directed 2 episodes. Not this season. 1 episode this season.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yes, he did 1 episode this season. He directed
episode
The Foundling. So the episode where they go rescue Paz Vizsla's son.
Okay, that's cool.
And so yeah, he directed that flashback, the Order 66 flashback.
Okay.
So yeah, he's here. Navarro. Mando's got a home now on Navarro.
Yeah, he's got a small plot of land. I feel like you could just end the series there, in all honesty.
Some people said that. Some people said this feels like a perfect ending.
Yeah, he's happy with Grogu torturing a frog.
Right.
No psychotic tendencies whatsoever. And yeah, you could end it there because the further along you push this, it's like, okay, where were these characters later on? You could honestly end it here. If Dave Filoni wanted to, he could, but I imagine in setting up a Mandalore of like resurgence, either there has to be a season 4 to touch on that, or there may be a separate Star Wars series that touches on the resurgence of Mandalore. And maybe Din Djarin will make cameos every now and then in separate Star Wars media. I think you could end it here because the villain's done. He's done. The villain from 1 through 3 seasons was Moff Gideon.
You're gonna have to create a new threat. Yeah.
A new threat that's just as captivating as Giancarlo, which is very difficult.
You know what it sounds like, and we can kind of talk about
Did a
more.
clone survive?
Oh, possibly. That's a thing.
That's gonna suck. I swear to God.
I don't want that.
He comes back with the broken dark saber that was left behind and he crushed.
Or it's like, we did extract enough midichlorians from young Grogu over there. Come here. And he uses the Force.
A goo gaga.
I mean, they could do that. I don't think I would want to.
They could.
What it sounds like, though, I think there is going to be a season 4. But what it really does sound like, because so they announced the Mandalorian verse movie is going to be a thing, directed by Filoni.
Oh, I heard something about Filoni directing like a film, but what is it?
It's a Mandoverse film.
But it's not it could be about Mando, but it's not. He did this Mandoverse, him and Dave Favreau.
Him and John Favreau.
Yeah, what I call it. Oh, I combined their names.
You combined. So the projects include Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and Skeleton Crew, which has not come out yet.
What about the Acolyte?
The Acolyte is not Filoni and Favreau.
Oh, so Filoni and Favreau are only involved with those that you just mentioned.
Correct.
The Acolyte is its own separate thing.
Along with just like how Obi-Wan and Andor are their own separate things.
Okay.
So there's going to be a film which is going to conclude all of this. So
it's going to conclude?
It's going to conclude all of this.
Interesting.
So if the idea is to get rid of Moff Gideon, and clearly they're setting up Thrawn, and obviously, we'll get Ahsoka later this year, maybe they're trying to build up Thrawn to be the big bad. Because, you literally just said, I don't know who's going to, what word did you say? You said, no one's matching Giancarlo,
like as a villain for a potential like season 4,
other than Thrawn,
a Mandalorian. Thrawn could, but I feel like they're not gonna do that for like a season 4 of Mando. Thrawn is like just so big of a name at this point because like you're reintroducing him into the mythos through Ahsoka, and to just have him be the season 4 villain for Mandalorian, I feel like he would be the villain for this movie.
I feel he's gonna be all encompassing at this point. Because I don't think there is a grave threat to the Mandalorians other than maybe the Republic, who again I think they're trying to build them up as they're not so nice as down with the Empire. Well, the Republic's not that great either. There's no real threat, and this kind of also leads to my point of they need to Game of Thrones all this shit.
What does that mean?
So you alluded to it earlier, or it was like if we had all these characters that we were just kind of bouncing around with multiple storylines and multiple character arcs that we see fleshed out through multiple episodes versus let's give this one character one episode. I think I wish the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Boba Fett were all just one show.
Oh, okay. So some episodes are dedicated to what is Ahsoka doing right now?
But it wouldn't even be the whole episode. It'd literally be like how Game of Thrones does it. Game of Thrones demands you keep up with all these characters in one sitting.
Right, because otherwise, if you dedicate it raises the question where we're stuck in a pickle. So, okay, imagine if in Game of Thrones, instead of instead of the story being told that the way Game of Thrones did it, imagine if there was a separate show just focused on Arya. Just Arya.
Probably wouldn't like it.
I think most people would not like. That's not saying we don't like Arya.
No, we love Arya. We love Arya.
But like to dedicate a whole show where it's just her and we're following her on her adventures, I feel like it doesn't have the same weight where you just divvy it up with everyone else the way Game of Thrones does it. But now you're stuck in a pickle with where the Mandoverse is in, where instead of doing it the way that you mentioned it, we're now getting a whole series dedicated to Ahsoka. And I love Ahsoka.
Ew.
But I'm telling you, that trailer of Ahsoka, I wasn't hyped from anything they showed in that trailer. I'm like, this is weird. I was excited for this, but that trailer did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. And that's a problem because Ahsoka's such a great character. And maybe that's the problem. These characters work in a singular, like cohesive story. Look at Clone Wars. Clone Wars.
Mhm.
Perfect example. Clone Wars, I wouldn't say they went completely Game of Thrones. Actually, you know what? No, they did. They did go complete Game of Thrones because you would think Clone Wars would just follow Anakin and Obi-Wan, but Clone
Right.
Wars at multiple times jumps to what's Dooku doing?
Yeah.
What's Darth Maul doing? What's Ahsoka doing? What's God, what was another character?
Mace
I don't know.
Windu. What's
Windu.
Darth Maul doing? What's Asajj Ventress doing? Yeah.
Instead of just saying, "Oh my God, we could have an Asajj Ventress show and an Ahsoka show and a Mace Windu show," just tell these little snippets and get to the point of what story you want to tell, and people are going to remember it a lot more.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with Mandoverse. Yeah, I agree. They
I-
should have Game of Thrones it.
I think so. I think because
now you're
what-
left with what we just got. What do we think of Boba Fett overall? Like,
well, I say that like, well, yes, Boba Fett is everything that works in Boba Fett or works in season 3 of Mando works. However, everything in between that does not per episode is fluff. And imagine removing the fluff and just inserting here's what Boba Fett's doing. The good parts of Boba Fett. Here's what he's doing.
right.
Here's what Ahsoka's doing. Right.
Instead of giving us a Jack Black and Lizzo planet visit, they just jump to, well, here's what Ahsoka's doing with I don't know, Luke. Just, I don't know, progress her story, I guess.
Right.
Like Game of Thrones.
Right. You don't need, because again, I mean the Lizzo Jack Black episode is the easiest one to pick on.
Yeah.
But
there's
take-
other examples.
well, just take that stuff out. Jump to Ahsoka, jump back, Din and Bo-Katan talking to wolves. Let's fight.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. And there is still character growth in doing so. It's just like you don't what's the word? I don't want to say sacrifice. Sacrifice. You don't sacrifice. I don't, you know what I'm trying to say?
I don't.
Just-
I don't know what you're getting at.
Just take out the fluff. There's a lot of fluff here. And you don't need fluff. You just need what works and what's good. Play with it. And just keep it one story. Again, we're at a point where it's hard for a lot of people to keep up with all these shows and keep up with all, these different universes, the MCU,
It's
the
an
Star
MC
Wars,
Yeah, Star Wars
Game
is
of
becoming
Thrones.
MCU a little bit.
It's very much becoming MCU.
Like to the point where it's like you need to watch Boba Fett to understand where season 3 of Mandalorian is starting off from. Because otherwise you'll be like, well, how do we end up here? I thought Grogu was with Luke. What happened? What happened?
Honestly, literally, if you skip Boba Fett, you start this season, you're like, did he kidnap him from Luke? What happened? That's
Terrible.
hilarious. And then Ahsoka's gonna make you watch Rebels. I am still on my Rebels watch.
Uh, Ahsoka. Oh God, when does that show come out? Ahsoka.
I think August.
August. Okay. I I feel like that show's gonna be mid. I don't know. I'm just worried. That trailer did nothing for me. I know
Ugh.
people are gonna be dumb and be like, "Oh, but you're not excited about the orange lightsaber?" No, I'm not. I'm not excited.
I
That
mean,
does nothing.
visually it looks decent. I'll let that show speak for itself.
Right.
But I think any final thoughts on Mandalorian season 3?
Definitely not my favorite season of Mando. And that's unfortunate because I know we were always touting the return of Mandalorian as, oh man, this movie sucks, or this Star Wars show sucks. But once Mandalorian comes back, it's gonna put things right. It's gonna remind everyone why it's king.
Yeah.
And I feel like this season did not remind everyone why it's king. I know there will be apologists out there that will say, no, this was the best season ever. That finale, oh my God, when baby Grogu force shielded the fire and it was mom and dad together, Bo-Katan and Din Djarin. Like, no, that was cool. Don't get me wrong. That was a cool moment, but that doesn't excuse the previous 7 episodes. So I'm whatever to it. It's not my favorite season of Mando, but it wasn't terrible. It's not worse than Boba Fett. That's not saying a lot, but I thought it was fine. Like average. If I were to put like a number on it, it's like 6 to 7 maybe, which is fine. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
You'll make it through the day watching it.
You can make it through the day
You
too. It's
can.
not like turn this off. No, it's not like that.
Right. I don't know. Maybe when you get to the Lizzo planet,
Even that
turn
wasn't.
this off.
I was just upset about her petting Grogu versus
You're
her
really
actual
like
appearance.
hooked on that. What the?
He's a child. He's not a pet.
I suppose.
But no, I'm along the same sentiments. It's a step down. I think season 2 was damn near perfect. And season 1 was, if not just a little less great, but both of them were great. Definitely made you kind of revitalize your fandom in Star Wars. And then, yeah, this one was definitely a step down. But again, I gotta give them points for where they deserve it. I feel they are laying foundation for what could be a really good season of Mandalorian. Explore the culture more, explore the religious sects, explore, these characters and these different Mandalorians interacting with each other. I think that works for a great show. The Empire and the Republic, 2 sides of the same coin. Let's see more of that. And then I think the action's great. I don't think they ever slipped on the action.
Yeah, the action was consistent.
And I think that finale was really good.
It was really good when they had that scene where R5 was turning off the shield walls.
Oh, very reminiscent, huh?
I mean, that's what it reminded me of, from Phantom Menace, but
Yes.
it was still a good scene. Him turning off the shield walls one by one.
R5, the shield.
R5, turn it off now.
That was good. That was good.
Those were good.
Oh, I love actually the Din Djarin slide to protect Grogu when he slid and started shooting. He slid on the ground.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was nice.
Was
He's
cool.
like, hands off my kid. I don't know.
He's mine.
Yes.
That's funny. Yeah, it had great moments peppered throughout. Just not as cohesive as the prior seasons.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, probably the last time we'll see Giancarlo as Moff Gideon, unless they do something dumb where it's like a clone survived somewhere and now it's force sensitive, so now it's the same Moff Gideon, but Now he can use the Force. Come here, Grogu. And is my midichlorians to your satisfaction?
Wow.
Look at that.
Very
Look at
nice.
that.
Very nice. It's Star Wars. There's endless possibilities. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, yeah, I'm probably like at a 6.5 overall, 7. Yeah, but it's fine. It's fine. I still have a lot of faith in Favreau and Filoni.
They've done more right than wrong, so it's not like I don't want to see them again ever on like anything media. You know, funny enough, in going over our Disney live action fiasco, which if you want to join the discourse on that, check out our Discord. I'm always like, you know, simping Jungle Book as the greatest Disney live action. I didn't know Jon Favreau directed that.
He did.
And I'm like, wow. What,
you know
what
what else
surprise.
he directed though, right?
What?
He directed another one too, another Disney live action.
What other one?
He did The Lion King.
That's an L. No, that's an L. You see, it's a hit or a miss. He either makes the best, he either makes you like the best dinner at a 5-star restaurant, or he takes you to McDonald's.
You know what? I just realized Jon Favreau is a lot of times he's 1 for 2.
Yeah.
Look at Iron Man 2.
He directed Iron Man 2.
Damn.
And yeah, Iron Man 1 versus Iron Man 2. You know what? Balance. He's all about balance.
Everything must have balance.
Everything must have balance. So he did Iron Man 1. He's like, I gotta balance this out. I gotta make something shitty. Bam. Iron Man 2.
Well, listen, I look at it like this. If I look at season 1 and 2 as one cohesive season, because you really can't treat it like that, honestly, because it's the story of Grogu. Bam. Right? Season 3, pretty weak. Jon Favreau is listed as the creator, right?
Right.
Just him. Filoni's a producer on it. Filoni about to come in and save the day, potentially with this Filoni directed movie of the Mandoverse. So, if not, all hope is lost.
All hope is lost.
I mean, I guess Ahsoka will also tell us whether or not all hope is lost as well.
We'll see. God, if they mess up Ahsoka, there's no hope. There's no hope. It just shows it was lightning in a bottle for 2 seasons of Mandalorian. That's it. They can't figure out the formula. It's lost.
You better pray for this freaking Ahsoka show. Because if this don't work, then we got nothing but Andor.
Acolyte?
Ooh, Acolyte, you're right.
I don't know. We'll see. Ahsoka should be an easy win, but I don't know.
Oof.
We'll see.
If it is not,
it's so easy. But some people would say Boba Fett too, because he's a fan favorite, and so how that went.
They fumbled that one pretty bad.
Right.
All right. I mean, we'll see. The Filoni's directing the first episode of Ahsoka. He directed 3 total. We'll see. That drops in August. But hey, we're Star Wars fans, people, so we're in for it. We need to catch up on Andor, but we're in for it. We're here for it. But that wraps things up here on our season 3 deep dive of The Mandalorian. We had a lot of negative things to say. There are some positives sprinkled throughout, but give us a listen. But if you already are giving us a listen, thank you for listening on all your podcast stations, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Thank you for following us on all social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you for still continuously following us on Instagram. I'm sorry, TikTok. We're coming back with a vengeance. Preoccupied doing some things. Dr. Jace is over there on Twitch a lot. He's about to start Mega Man, or he already started Mega Man yesterday. So jack me in, Sam.
Gross. Don't you ever.
Go watch him play on Twitch. And then, of course, if you ever want to join the discourse you hear on the Yonko table, be sure to click the link below and join the Discord. We're talking a shitstorm about multiple topics. You can join in, get things popping. So we'll see you there. But without further ado, I'm your host, Grandmaster Hoop. fellow Yonko, Dr. Jason Turney, how should we close this one out?
This is the way.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say some stupid rule, and then you have to say this is the way.
Bo-Katan Kryze.
Din Grogu.
All right, that's enough.
This is the way.